Hi there, my name's Rufus, and today you join me in answering the question: is the BMW S1000RR the best superbike for the roads? Well, in short, yes it is. I shall obviously elaborate on that. I'm not just going to answer it with a simple yes. So why is the S1000 the best sports bike for the road? Well, superbike for the road. It's not just one thing, it's sort of many different things that correlate together to make this a really road friendly sports bike. I mean, for one, obviously the glaring fact is sports bikes are not designed to be comfortable machines. They're designed to be as fast as possible around a racetrack. So obviously when you're riding them on the road, they're not going to be the most comfortable things to be on. However, the S1000 does a very, very good job at doing both quite well. Honestly, the sporty side of things, the position is fantastic. On track, this bike is an absolute weapon. But on the road, actually turns out it's quite a comfortable machine, especially if you're a tall person like me as well. I'm 6'4", 6'5", and this riding position is really, really comfortable for me. I can go hours in the saddle on this thing. I mean, I've never ridden a Panigale, but I would dread to think what that bike is like riding it for 3-4 hours. On the track, yeah, not on the road though. So that riding position is the perfect compromise of sportiness and comfort. The seat as well is actually very nicely padded on this bike, so you don't get a sore bum after being on the bike for too long either. So it makes it a very comfortable place to be. But not only are you going to be comfortable on this bike, if you decide to do motorway journeys, well, it's got cruise control on it. So if you want, just whack that on. I think it's in third gear above 30. And there you go, you can cruise along. Just cruise along doing 50 miles an hour at the moment. Nothing on the throttles, perfectly comfortable. Until you go over a bump like that, and then you remember it is a sports bike. So, for long distance stuff as well, it's really, really good. Now, the suspension side of things, it is still quite firm. It is still quite a firm ride. There's only so much compromise you can do on that to allow the bike to still be stiff and sporty while offering comfort. It does a good job of it though, because it's got this one anyway has got the dynamic damping control on it, which has two modes. I think you can't set them, but it's dependent on what mode you're in. So rain and sport, which is what I'm in at the moment, is road mode on the suspension, and then when you whack it into track or into slip mode, if you've got the little dongle plugged in, which this one does, it turns it into dynamic, which basically adjusts the suspension as you're riding to suit the road surface or the track surface, sort of under braking, acceleration. It measures loads and loads of different things and adjusts the suspension. I can't remember what it is. I think it's 200-300 times every second, which it makes for kind of like two different bikes in one. When you want a really, really sharp handling track bike, you put it in dynamic and it stiffens it up. But then when you're on the road like this, you put it in sport, it eases off the throttle, eases off the suspension a little bit, makes it a comfortable, compliant ride, enough that it can handle all these bumps that you get in these back roads. But it really does a fantastic job of being that kind of like two different bikes in one, which is great. And those rider modes also change the way the throttle responds. So if you don't want to be feeling like you're on a 200 horsepower superbike track weapon constantly all the time, you put it in sport and it eases that throttle response off a little bit. You put it in rain, it eases it off even more and reduces the power output. So you can really ride this bike every single day and actually be very comfortable in it as well. But when you want it to be, it's still that blisteringly fast track weapon And that's the great thing about this bike. It'll do the comfortable long distance touring, but it'll also do the, oh my god, take your head off, my heart's in my mouth speed as well. And I love it, it's fantastic. It does lack a little bit of low end torque like you get on bikes like the Super Duke or the Panigale. If we're comparing sports bike for sports bike, the Panigale V4 has got more low down torque than this, so it'll pull it out of a hole when you're at lower RPMs. But saying that, it's still got a lot of low down pull to it, being 1,000. So it's still quite a vicious animal if you want it to be. But that's it. Only if you want the bike to do it will it do that. If you don't want it to be like that and you want it to be calm and collected and smooth and just chill out, it does that as well. And it's amazing how they've incorporated it into this kind of package and made it so smooth. It's brilliant, and I've taken a wrong turn. I just realised I'm going the wrong way. Well, I'll wait here. I'm not going to mess traffic or anything up. I don't think the light's actually sensing me either. I will turn around. Sorry. And then there's the quick shifter on the bike as well. That up and down blipper is so smooth. BMW really perfected it on this bike. Honestly, on the Gen 1 and the Gen 2, they just had the up quick shifter, no down blipper. That down blipper is so smooth, it'll even do it at low RPMs. See, 3,000 RPM. It doesn't even complain, it's not jerky or anything, it just does it. So, back onto the compliance of the suspension. This road up here is going to be a perfect demonstration of, despite it being compliant, it's still pretty damn bumpy. But I think on any bike that's designed to be sporty in any way, these roads are going to be quite unpleasant. It is quite bumpy. I think the only thing that's going to smoothen this kind of stuff out is an adventure bike. And I'd hate to be on a Panigale with incredibly stiff suspension or an R1, because you would be bounced around all over the place, but it does a decent job of not trying to throw you off the bike. But thankfully this road smoothens out a little bit, and further up here it gets a bit fun and twisty. So, I've talked about the comfort of this bike. Now, instead of talking about the sporty side of things, well, I'll show you, for now, how good this bike is at being, well, a super bike. When you take it out on the weekends and you want it to be fun, and you want it to chuck it around in the corners, I'll show you how well it does that. There's always a car blocking the road when you can't see around the corner. Always. There we go. when you get on it, this bike really shows what it was designed to do originally. Oh, it's brilliant. And this is the stuff that really does put a smile on my face. And over this crest, over to the left, and then round to the right. Oh, the road is a bit wet though, so I don't want to be me down there or anything. When you get into the power band and you're on the throttle, this thing does just pop the wheel up at every opportunity it gets. Why is it? It's another. I swear it was a silver Toyota Yaris that we were stopped behind before. I swear it was a silver Toyota Yaris. Why is it two of them? Technically it's the Merc holding us up, but still. But this bike, when you do take it out on the weekends and you go to do what I just did, your sporty riding, and by no means am I a particularly fast rider either, it is absolutely fantastic, and all of that slight discomfort that you get and the slightly harsh suspension on your day-to-day riding is completely made up for when you go and do stuff like that, and you don't care about it anymore. You deal with the slightly lent over riding position and the slightly stiff suspension on a daily basis because it does that so very, very well, and it's very, very exciting. It is a brilliant bike when you go and do stuff like that. Overkill? Yeah, it is overkill. I mean, it's 200 horsepower on a bike you're riding on the road. That is completely overkill. You don't need it. But just because you don't need it doesn't mean you shouldn't have it, because it is tremendous amounts of fun. But you do have to be careful because it can get you in trouble very, very quickly. So you've got to keep it restrained on a daily basis, which is why the other modes are quite good, because it takes the temptation away slightly if you're in rain mode, for instance. Now, I'm going to turn back round and go back up that road because it's so much fun. Carefully, of course. Careful through the water. Careful through this section because it's a bit wet. That front wheel really does like to just bounce along the road just hovering above the tarmac when you're on the gas. And that is why I love this bike so much, combined with all the other things that I've talked about, all the comfort, the sort of daily amenities that make this bike really nice to ride on a daily basis. And then it does that and makes your heart beat out of your chest. That is why I think the S1000RR is the best superbike for the road. Because show me another superbike that's as comfortable as this, yet when you open the throttle, as mental as it is as well. It's Jekyll and Hyde as a bike, this. Very calm, very collected, very, very smooth and reserved on a daily basis. Then you take it out on the weekend, you give it a bit of a spanking, and oh my god, it turns into a different bike. It turns into a completely different beast. And I love it. So yes, the S1000RR is the best superbike for the road. And that's that. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye.